All right, welcome to my FX Buddies, the podcast. And I say podcast because there are multiple mediums on which you can enjoy this content. But my favorite way and the way that I recommend the most is the blog. And the blog is parked at myfxbuddies.blogspot.com. However, that's a lot to type in, it's too much to remember, and it's just, there's whatever, right? Okay, so the best way to keep this video or this audio with the information on this page is to look for a prompt. It'll either say more, open, description, intro, info, something of that nature. You click on that, tap on it, whatever, and then a Dropbox comes or something, but you'll see either the words link to my FX Buddies or the link itself, which the HTTPS, and it's blue and you click and you're here at the blog, the free blog. You don't have to put your address, your email address in, and I don't sell anything. All right, so let's get into it. It is Saturday, November 15th. There's nothing exciting, and I wasn't even going to post, but I saw this and I said, oh yeah, this is post worthy. So, and don't hang up or click away. There's other news. Oh, if you like the WTO information, there's a WTO update. There's a Ramadan Bank update. So stay tuned. All right. So Apple Pay launches in Iraq. Now I know we saw that headline before, but this goes into way more detail and about other topics. All right. The next step in digital transformation. So Apple Pay, a step towards expanding the umbrella of electronic payments. But with Apple, it's more than just payments, right? They get you in an ecosystem. So look at all the things this guy sells at his store. All kinds of stuff, right? Just thought that was interesting. And what is this, a copy machine? Yeah, I bet he's important to the neighborhood. All right. The cabinet recently approved recommendations to move forward with activating Apple Pay services in Iraq as part of the government's efforts to strengthen the digital infrastructure and expand the reach of electronic payments in the country. Apple Pay allows for easy payments using Apple devices and enables secure, contactless purchases in stores through apps and online. Experts believe it is a safer way to pay. Experts, right? As well as being very easy and is an important step towards the future of contactless payments. Historical turning point. The Economist explained that the world is going through a historical turning point that is changing on several fronts. There are different conflicts, military, social, political, geographical, and economic. He pointed out that He pointed out that the economic conflict now is between the American Global Payment System SWIFT, which is globally dominant, and the Russian SPFS financial transfer system, which has been joined by more than 177 institutions, but here's the key, 24 countries, right? As well as WeChat system, which has reached the stage of cloud-based electronic money. So I thought that was interesting. Cloud-based electronic money. So he also went into that this conflict is more important than all the current conflicts between the United States and its allies and China and Russia and their allies, explaining that the world is divided in two, while Iraq still stands in the middle between BRICS and the Western Bloc, with their financial tools such as SWIFT, Apple Pay, Google Pay, and PayPal. So you see how deep this is. More than just, where's my money? This is more than just turn it on, change the rate so I can get my money, right? it's going to affect the whole global economy. So it has to be done correctly. Plus, we're fighting. We're fighting to keep the dollar dominant. And I don't know. Are we winning or are we losing? Some would say we're losing, right? I don't want to. I don't want to say we're losing. But anyway, so that's where we are. And I think people are just going to see this as an article about Apple Pay, but it's so much deeper. So here you can shaping the economy. Okay, so it talks about restructuring the Iraqi economy to be digital, linking Iraq to global financial institutions, right? Or creating a revolution in monetary policy and moving Iraq towards modernity in financial, monetary, and economic development. So there's all of that. In recent times, they've increased electronic transactions from 5% to 50%, and that will link Iraq to the global economy through its financial tools, which will enhance e-commerce, encourage cross-border business and trade, provide many job opportunities until it doesn't, right? And facilitate the purchase process for the Iraqi citizen from any country in the world with the click of a button and without obstacles, which will stimulate commercial activity and strengthen the local activity. Here, global revolution, financial and economic. So this is a different person, I believe. Let me see, because that guy was Al-Rubaie, whatever. So this is another Abadi, not the previous prime minister. This is a financial and economic expert. He considered Iraq's joining Apple Pay as an announcement of the country joining the ranks of the global financial revolution, noting that the joining represents economic and digital dimensions. They will facilitate combating the informal economy, which is the parallel market, which is shady, right? Which is estimated to be more than 40% of the gross domestic product in Iraq, noting that the central bank's estimates indicate that the volume of cash transactions outside the banking system exceeds 25 trillion Iraqi dinars annually. And of course they want a piece of that, right? Of course they're mad that money is not getting into their grubby little hands or their grubby little accounts, right? Since it's digital, no more no more money in the hands, right? But yeah, so official channels, so this is the second guy, the second expert, added that the service will encourage citizens to link their savings to the official banking sector and direct funds towards official channels instead of illegal methods. So, y'all Iraqis who got your money at home, here's another person telling you, bring it in, right? He acknowledged that Iraqi e-commerce market is growing at a rate of 35% annually. He noted that it suffers from weak secure payment systems for e-commerce stores, which reduce operating costs by 15 to 20% and also reduce the cost of dealing with cash, which is counting, transporting, storing, which costs the merchant 5 to 7% of his revenues. Yeah, it has great benefits, right? Regarding the benefits that the citizens will gain, because they care so much about us citizens, right? Abadi explained that it will save 2 to 3 hours per week that were wasted waiting in those bank lines, reduce the cost of financial transfers by 60%. That is true. Compared to traditional methods, and increase financial security by 80% through biometric authentication technologies. I don't like that biometric though. As for investors, it creates a more attractive business environment with the provision of advanced digital infrastructure. Let's see. Yeah, so then they list other countries who are doing it, and so there's a little bit more to that. But yeah, that was the if you're not reading this article, you might want to read it. All right, because it's coming here. I mean, it's already here, right? Don't get me wrong, I understand. We have advanced technologies. We have, hey, if you're considering joining the coin that I talk about, you can now pay with Bitcoin, right? I'm like, oh, great, right? And I'll have the link in the how to support my FX buddies part. But everything is just moving. It's moving, and yeah, So I know it's here, and there's people who there's people that don't even touch dollars anymore, right? And there's no more. The penny's gone. They've minted the last penny ever, right? So yeah, I know that the system's here, but they are just pushing Iraq. They're like, hey, you got new money. You don't need that money. Just get on this new digital system, right? All right. Economic crises are escalating. Contractors' dues are an early warning before the Iraqi government shut down. So there will be a shutdown, but it'll be a matter of days, maybe weeks, right? When they switch over from who's there now to the next one. But remember, we talked about they were out in the streets. The contractors were out in the streets demanding their payments, their dues, right? So that tells me they still haven't gotten paid. Recently, complaints from contractors about the delay in receiving their financial dues have been growing, despite their completion of service and infrastructure projects in a number of governance, which we call cities, right? This delay does not appear to be related to administrative procedures alone, but rather indicates clear funding bottlenecks within the general budget and a slowdown in financial transfers between ministries and implementing bodies. So they ain't paying. It doesn't matter, right? Whatever the reason is, they're not getting paid. Multiple stakeholders. The government's delay in paying, here's my buddy, the douche. The Economist, the government's delay in paying the dues of contractors who completed services due to severe funding bottlenecks within the budget, in addition to weak cash flow and slow transfers. There's the truth, right? For whatever reason, we know they're having liquidity crisis, right? All right. Yeah, so the multiplicity of regulatory and accounting bodies increases the delay periods. No, it doesn't. Bottom line is either they don't have the money and they don't want to pay for a reason, or they don't have the money and they can't pay, right? So, yeah. And then, so they're upset, and so there's some stuff. And now here, the Iraqi street demands Sudani be appointed prime minister. So these are the citizens who understand the battles between Washington and the neighbor. And they're out in the street saying, we voted Sudani, we want Sudani. You Iranians, get out our business, go. Go vote for your government, right? So I like this. This is good. This is good that this is happening. They're showing support already, early support, right? See, here's a citizen. Sudani did not come with slogans, but with actual work. The citizen witnessed tangible service and administrative reforms and improvements. So returning him to form the government is not just a political option, but a response to a broad popular desire. Here's another citizen. Iraqis are tired of multiple experiments. They want a figure capable of managing heavy files. Sudani has proven over the past 2 years he's capable of handling crises. Here's another one. Electoral awareness this year was different. People voted for the one they saw as having a real ability to achieve. That is why Sudani won a victory. So here's more, here's more, here's more. All right? So this is very good. And here's one. Given the changing economic circumstances. So see, we over here, we say, why are they in the streets? Why aren't they demanding their purchasing power increase? In a way they are, right? And remember, they hide a lot of stuff from us. There's stuff that happens in the news that's said in social media, right? That is not, well, none of their news is made for us, right? All of their news is made for their citizens. But they figured out that all the world is watching. They're like, that dang Tish over there, she keeps getting our articles. She's watching our TV. So, yeah, but, so they are, and, for some, living is still bad, right? But it's getting better, and they're adding more of the ones that are struggling to they don't call it welfare, social benefits. They're adding more of them to that, but with hopes to get them in school, or maybe get a entrepreneurial opportunity, right? They really push to them entrepreneurship. So, and it's time. It's gonna take time. I mean, but he made a pledge, and it does say pledge. They'll be developing for 20 years. Now, granted, he can't be there for 20 years, but development's going to take 20 years. And that may have been in yesterday's post, or it may be today's. Okay. Here he met with the British ambassador. What are they discussing? Investment, energy, and industry sectors. So, this is the ambassador, right? The British ambassador, whose name is Irfan Sadiq. So you can read that if you like. Now look at this man. Doesn't he just look so happy? I don't know why they can't do a better picture for him. So these two are they're not negative. I'm not going to say they're negative, but they're definitely not about, oh, look at us. We're doing so good. We have all this investment money coming in. And let me see if I show you his name. This name, remember this name? And I'm like, I don't know how to say this name, but it's Ra'ad maybe, but look at his last name. How do you say that? But yeah, and I could never forget this picture of him, right? An economist told the news international conflicts have negatively impacted oil prices and that Iraq should exercise caution in public spending. So yeah. Just with oil, and they're like some banks, I'm going to say banks, but they're people who specialize, right? So they're specialists who work for the banks. They're saying, hey, oil might be $30 a barrel again one day. So that's why these Arab countries are looking at, what are we going to do, right? They're not going to totally lose oil revenue, but the possibility for it is to decrease. So here's another guy. There's a little better picture of this guy, right? Yeah, his name's difficult for me to pronounce also. And he says, an economic expert says Iraq faces $1 trillion deficit, putting employee salaries at risk. Now, I'm not sure why he wants to come out and scare the citizens that they're not going to get their salaries, but he did. And so I just have these because these are things we need to keep our eyes on in case, what if their picture of the economy is correct? And I mean, we have our officials get up and say how wonderful our economy, it's the best economy ever. We're the hottest. I don't know if that was, I heard a soundbite and I don't know if that was really the U.S. president or, there's this guy on Telegram. Well, I don't know where he is, but I see him on Telegram. He sounds exactly like the president. Oh my gosh. Anyway, so if you'd like to support my FX buddies, the opportunity to get in on the ground floor of a coin has been extended to December 1st. Well, actually, to get in and get the bonus coins, right? And so if you'd like to do that, you can click these and it'll tell you how. All right. So another way is that actually, this will be, I don't know why this is not coming out, and I read this like all the time. This will be a live link when the blog is live. Buy Me a Coffee is a live link, and Cash App is always live, and it's $ Tish Wash, and PayPal is Tish Wash. Big or small, I appreciate it all, and thank you in advance for your generosity. All right, we got 10 minutes, and we still have some. Okay, I'll get to the WTO. But so Sudani's going to Kurdistan for 2 days. I'm sure there'll be much negotiating. I need your support. What are you going to do? What do I have to do for you? We need to look like we're united, right? All of those things are going to be topics. This is interesting. The U.S. State Department, elected Iraqi leaders have the authority to form the next government. Well, did we need to give them that authority? Was there ever any doubt that this new government was gonna the elected leaders were gonna need authority? I don't know. That seems strange to me. But anyway, so it doesn't even say who this person is, just a spokesperson, right? Congratulated the Iraqi people on the peaceful elections. Added that their elected leaders now have the sovereign authority to determine the formation of the next Iraqi government. So maybe now that they're elected, that's why they have it, right? It's not because we're giving them the authority, right? I don't know. And then they talk about Savaya and how he congratulated them and he's there to help them, right? He affirmed the United States remains strongly committed to supporting Iraq's sovereignty. All right. And he looks forward to working with the Iraqi government to deepen the strategic partnership in the areas of security, energy, and development, to contribute to building a stable and prosperous future for all Iraqis. Yay. All right. So here are the articles that, well, it's the same really, but this is long, this is short. Look at that. Okay? So we'll just go through this, but I know some of you, and what I will also try to remember to do is put in the description, you can tell YouTube to put a mark just for that video, that portion of the video, time ticket. So like for me it's 23 minutes, but it won't be that on YouTube. But anyway, so the Ministry of Trade has adopted steps aiming at enhancing Iraq's chances of joining the WTO. So now there was something, okay, this. Joining the WTO, which Iraq had submitted a request to through the ministry, represents a strategic step towards full integration into the global economy. So when it's done, and it reflects the country's commitment to reforming the economic and trade system in accordance with international standards. So those words right there are repeated a few times in this article. Government to implement an economic reform program, strengthen trade policies, so they're not quite ready, is what this is saying. And they need to take necessary steps to complete the ascension process. All right. Furthermore, he highlighted the importance of strengthening the role of the private sector as a partner to the public sector in meeting the needs of local markets. Why is that important? Well, to me, why does that stick out to me? Because as long as I've been in this, as long as they've been talking about changing the rate, they've been talking about activating the private sector. So it seems the two go together somehow, right? Because they've initiated the private sector. It's been advanced, but it's not fully activated, right? The role needs to be strengthened. All right. So this is the guy who just gave that. Here's his name. All right. And then they just took a snippet of that longer article I read and put it here. All right. Here's another reminder about foreign reserves are a pillar of monetary stability. So not only is this a way for them to tell the citizens how much foreign currency reserves they have, which I doubt this is a real number, but also it's educating them on the importance of foreign reserves. And the amount they have is sufficient to cover an equivalent of 18 months of imports. All right? And, yeah. So this is a good announcement as well. Rafidan Bank announces the addition of 20 of its branches to the anti-money laundering system. That's good news, right? It represents a qualitative step that enhances the ability to monitor financial transactions and preserve the citizens' money. All right, and I thought this was interesting. Hola, Iraq! Hamadi calls for holding an Iraqi-Spanish media week in Baghdad. So they're there in Madrid. The media delegation. There's some kind of meeting going on. And so, yeah, so they're saying in addition to this, Iraq and Spain are moving towards diverse economic partnerships encompassing investment, energy, and culture, right? So, yeah. So they want to bring some journalists over to conduct field visits to Baghdad and other provinces, enabling them to observe the media landscape and visit historical and tourist sites. So yeah, that's interesting. All right, so this is your update for today. Like I said, nothing spectacular. Maybe tomorrow we'll get some more news from the CBI. I'm almost done going through that article of the 9 points of the, what did I say it was called? I forget. I'm a little bit more than halfway through that. It's educational, I'll say that. All right, so yeah, thank you for spending this 30 minutes with me. I hope it was helpful. Oh, and I do want to say, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. If you haven't already, there's still time to hit that thumbs up button. Thank you, new subscribers. I have some new subscribers, but they don't tell me how many, but one person put, hey, new subscriber here. Thank you. All right, and what else? So you see how you should just watch any video I post. You should just watch it, no matter what the title is, right? Because I cover a variety of topics, but the thing is, for these platforms, you have to have eye-catching things, or, you know, they won't put you out there and say, hey, this is something people might want to watch, right? So it's weird, but whatever. So, yeah, that's going to wrap this up. We'll see what tomorrow brings. Accumulate while we wait for the rate to appreciate. Don't miss any meals. Pay all your bills. If you missed the last episode, a little box is going to come up. You can click that and it will play that automatically for you. Enjoy the rest of your morning, night, noon, whatever time frame you are indulging in this content. And until next time.